Hi there. Welcome to Caddy Tales, the weekly video series. My name is Werner and I will be your host. Our goal with this weekly series is to make sure we answer every question you have concerning caddy programs, caddy training, or anything in general having to do with a caddy. This week's segment brought to you by Achieve Insights. They have a phenomenal cutting-edge mental training program that will definitely take your golf game to the next level. I suggest you check them out right away, and you can do so at ai-sport.com. This week's topic is going to be professional selling skills and how to close more sales. Now, right away you're saying, what gives you the qualifications to talk to us about closing more sales, Scotty? Well, before I was a caddy, I taught professional selling skills across the country to employees of a large financial firm. So I know by using these techniques you will definitely be able to close more sales. Let's begin. We're going to talk about three areas today: drawbacks, skepticism, and indifference. First is a drawback. A drawback occurs when the two parties are so far apart a sale is probably not going to occur. For example, at your golf facility, say a client wants to pay $50 for a tee time and it's $169 for a tee time. Too far apart, not going to happen, drawback. Or if you're a teaching professional, you have a new client come in, they're a 36 handicap, just learning how to play golf, and they want to be a scratch golfer by the end of the Accenture World Match Play Championship. Not going to happen, drawback. The way to handle a drawback is agree to follow up in a month's time. Maybe some things have changed at that particular moment, and you'll be able to make the sale. The next one is skepticism. And let's take an example of a teaching professional. New client comes into your office, and they're 14 handicap. They want to get to single digit. Nowadays, everybody wants to be single digit handicap. So you've done this many times before. You know it's going to take this many lessons. It's going to take the client this much practice, and in general it's going to take this amount of time to achieve the goal. So you put the plan together, you give them a proposal, and it has the dollar price on it. Slide it across the desk and they look at it. It's like, oh, I really don't know if this is going to get me to where I need to be. A little bit of skepticism. Let's ask them an open-ended question and find out why. Well, I understand you have some concerns, Mr. Client. What concerns are they? Well, I've had some friends in the past that have had similar programs and they weren't able to reach their goals. So I'm a little bit leery of this program being able to deliver those goals. Well, I certainly understand your reservations. I've had some clients in the past that have had some concerns about reaching the goals. And once they were finished, they were nice enough to write some letters. And this one here is from Mrs. Smith. She went from a 20 handicap down to a 14. And this, Mr. Jones, he went from an 18 handicap down to a 12. And they were also kind enough to say if you'd like to call them to talk to them about their results, they'd be happy to share that with you. How does that sound? Blammo! You knew it was skepticism. You asked a couple open-ended questions to probe. You found out that the client needed proof. You were able to give them proof, so you went in and closed the sale. Great job. The next one is indifference. Indifference is a little more challenging in that you got to peel back the layers of the onion because there's always something behind the indifference that you need to uncover. Let's take, for example, Mr. Fortune 500 comes to your facility and they want a 144-player shotgun tournament with caddies, with a box lunch, with a conference room from 8 o'clock in the morning to 11:30, and at the end they want the director of golf to hand out some door prizes and give a little bit of speech. This is right up your wheelhouse. You've done this many, many times before. So you write up the proposal, you slide it over to Mr. Fortune 500, and they look at it, and I don't know if we can make this work. Well, let's peel back the layers of the onion by asking them some open-ended questions. Well, I understand you may have some concerns. What are those concerns? Well, that's quite a big number to pay up front. I don't know if our budget will allow us to pay all that at one time to secure the date that we're looking for right now. Okay, we're getting a little information. We almost have what we need. Let's probe a little bit more and ask them another open-ended question. Well, tell me a little bit about your budget so we can make this program work for you. Well, since this is a team-building exercise, we only get so much money per quarter. We're going to get an allotment this quarter, and we're going to get an allotment the quarter that the tournament's going to be played, but we're not going to have all of that money right up front, so I don't think we're going to be able to make that happen. Well, Mr. Fortune 500, this has happened to many clients in the past. They haven't been able to come up with all of the money, but we've been flexible enough to be able to require a 50% deposit up front. That way, you're able to lock in your tournament date, and you can start promoting that right away. Then, when the tournament arrives, you can drop off the other 50%, therefore staying within your budget requirements. How does that sound? Blam! You just uncovered the indifference and found out that they had some budget constraints. You made the budget flexible enough for 2 payments, so what happened? You just sold a 144-player full field shotgun with 36 caddies and a conference room at 8 to 11:30, box lunch, and the director of golf speaking at the end of the day to give out some prizes. Way to close it up. So let's sum up here. When we have a drawback, what are we going to do? We're just going to follow up probably a month down the road, see if some things have changed so we can make the sale. When we have some skepticism, we're going to ask some more open-ended questions so we can probe a little deeper and find out what they're looking for. In this instance, they were looking for some proof that your program works. When we come to indifference, we're going to peel back the layer of the onion a little bit to find out what it is behind the indifference that's holding up the client from making the sale. In this instance, it was the budget, and you were flexible enough to be able to make 2 payments, and the client was happy. A win-win for everybody. So by using these techniques, I know that you will be able to close more sales at your facility. And speaking of sales, Caddy Tales. 33 million people play golf in the U.S. every year, yet only 1% of those will ever have a caddy experience. Caddy Tales is a unique, one-of-a-kind look at the hysterical stories that develop when players from all walks of life take a caddy. You can pick up the paperback on Amazon, or you can download it to your Kindle. I suggest you do so and take a look at Chapter 7. It'll tell you how caddies really get their nickname. It is laugh out loud funny. Once again, if you have any suggestions or you'd like us to share other best practices with you on some sales closures, send us an email. Our email is caddytales@gmail.com. And also, if you'd like to talk to us on Twitter, we would be happy to tweet you back. Our Twitter address is @CaddyTalesBook. And it should be tweeting right here as we speak. Until then, remember, when you're caddying, it's always about your player. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.